You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P. Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Missouri St. Louis St. Assistant Swimming Coach, Coach Kale Kirchner. How are you doing today?
Good. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching and college swimming?
Yeah. When I was younger, my dad coached in college. He coached at Arkansas and Missouri State, and just ever since that point in my life, like when I was like 9, 10 years old, I kind of knew that I probably would get into coaching just because I love the competition, not just in swimming, but any kind of sport. Um, I think that was my goal from the get-go was I knew I was good with kids, like when I kind of got into my college years and even in high school when I would coach little club teams and stuff. But I knew that's kind of what I wanted to do for my future.
What was that experience like for you going to Texas A&M and playing water polo?
So yeah, water polo is definitely my first love, I'd say, over swimming. I love swimming, but I wasn't as good at it as I was at water polo. So I kind of gravitated more towards that on my competition side. But yeah, playing there was awesome. I got to play with my best friend that I played with all through high school. And it was a really fun experience, seeing the college ranks and playing against really good players throughout the not only the state but the country. For my time there.
Of course, while at Texas A&M, what was that experience like putting on that water polo cap for them?
It was really fun. Like um we were a really good group together, and I really wanted to go there with my best friend, like I mentioned before. And I actually have a tattoo of our caps on my arm, on my right arm. So putting that on was a really cool honor, and especially doing it with one of my best friends, and playing the sport that I love. Like I appreciated every minute I was there.
Of course, what was that experience like getting to play in the SEC for Texas A&M in water polo?
So actually, when I was there, the A&M was still in the Big 12, so they had not moved to the SEC. That's how old I am. So they had not moved to the SEC yet. We were still in the Big 12. But we did still play against Texas and all the kind of Big 12 teams that are around right now. But it was fun. We got to play all those big teams and big schools and go to like invitationals and stuff like that. Um, and not just the Big 12, but just other conferences and some of the East Coast teams, the West Coast teams. It was a really good time every time we played those teams or in those schools.
What was that atmosphere like playing in the rivalry game against Texas?
Um, it it was always like it was we had a respect for the other team for Texas, but obviously we always wanted to beat them. That was the main goal. And it was back and forth with us. Like, no one really dominated one side the time I was there. So we had a really good rivalry in water polo and kind of like in the other sports that they have between A&M and Texas. So um, it was fun. We always look forward to that matchup every year. So I'm glad we got to do it. It just kind of built our team chemistry a lot more too whenever we kind of get done playing with those guys. So I think rivalries in sports are super important. So we were lucky to have that.
Of course, for you, what was that transition like going from a sport like water polo to getting into coaching swimming?
It wasn't a big transition just because I had coached club teams and summer league teams before that. And you actually do swim quite a bit in water polo practices too, but it's not you're not getting too much in the technical side in water polo practice when you're doing the swimming portion. It's more just for endurance only and getting that aerobic workout in. But it was a pretty easy transition, just learning stuff from my dad. He coached me all throughout high school on the swimming side and the water polo side, but I learned so much from him on the swimming portion of it that it was pretty easy going from water polo into swimming just on the coaching side of things.
How was it like getting to become a head coach for Saint Charles Stingrays?
So that was my first head coaching job, and um, what I liked about the challenge of that was I went into a team of like 20 kids, and it was basically starting from scratch and trying to build up a team again from nothing. That I believe they were pretty big before, but then they had some coaching issues for like 4 or 5 years, and then it went down to like 20 kids, and I couldn't wait to get back in and build that team back up and get it back to where it was before. And I loved every season we got better there. We ended up, by the time I left that team, we were up to like 120 kids. So, and competing at our regional championships and our state championships and being in the top contenders for those meets. So I was super proud of my time there when I got there. And by the time I left, I was very satisfied about what we'd accomplished as a team and as a coach as well.
What were some of the things that you were able to accomplish, and how did that time as the head coach help you to where you are now as the assistant coach?
So I think one of the biggest things, like I mentioned before, was gaining that many kids again back on the team, and then my first year going to our regional championships, and we're finishing like ninth or tenth in ninth or tenth place, and starting from that, and then by the time my final year I was there, we ended up second. So that was our best finish in the regional championships, was getting second in that. And then in regionals, in the state championship, getting in the top five out of the teams there was pretty special. So we went from always kind of being at the bottom, last place teams, and then by the time my last year, we were winning meets and finishing towards the top of everything. So I was very proud of that in our team.
For you, what was that transition like from going from being a head coach at one program to coming to Missouri and becoming an assistant coach?
So the biggest thing was, now you're going from coaching 6-year-olds to 18-year-olds, and then now obviously in the college you're going 18 to 22, 23. So it's a little bit different because you're dealing with adult personalities and not so much the kids anymore, the younger kids. So that was something I knew I was going to have to adjust to a little bit more, just because college kids think a little bit different than have a different mindset than an 8-year-old does. So, but I think coaching the 10 and unders and all that age group helps actually with those older kids, just because you kind of know what they've been through already and what they want to accomplish in the future.
What was that feeling like for you to get to step onto the pool deck as a coach for Missouri St. Louis?
It was pretty cool. I walked out on the deck for that first practice that I had, and I remember um, all the swimmers that were already there were just kind of like waiting to meet me, and they didn't really know what to expect. And I was super nervous walking out on the deck, but I knew like, okay, this is where I want to be right now, and this is the level that I want to be at. And it was a very smooth transition. the head coach, Tony Hernandez, like him and I are best friends now. So I'm glad I got to meet him that first year, and he made everything super smooth, and I'm really appreciative about that.
What does a typical swim meet look like for you as a coach versus for your swimmers?
So we like to say like whenever we're at a meet, we kind of turn into fans at the same time. Like we're coaching during the meet, but when we get to those meet days, it's like half fan, half coach because you're excited to see what your kids are going to try to do here in the meet and compete. A lot of the preparation is just um, it's sort of game planning for the other team, and putting people in different events that they need to be in and setting up relays and stuff like that. But mainly it's getting the kids ready on the meet day just so they're prepared to race, with warm up and staying active in between their races. So yeah, it's a fun time. We love meets, and our pool gets very loud when we have our dual meets there.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've helped to build for the swimming program at Missouri St. Louis?
Yeah, so we kind of build our culture on focus, energy, and effort is like our motto. Um, and we just ask the kids every day, even if they're having a bad day, coming in and just putting the best effort they can put towards, even if they're not feeling great. We understand stuff happens every day, and you're not always going to have the best day, but bringing that effort every time is going to make you feel better. And getting people rallied around each other too is a big thing for us. We like to have like a family type culture on our team, where everybody's back gets behind everybody's back, and there's a huge support system within our team. So no one's really singled out or kind of lone wolfing anything. Everyone's doing everything together. So I think we've done a really good job at this point with our team culture and building up that family type atmosphere at the pool.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you see at these typical swim meets?
So we're in the Great Lakes Valley Conference, and it is the fastest conference in Division II swimming. And the big teams that you'll see that we'll swim against is University of Indianapolis, McKendree, Drury, and then we've got quite a few here in St. Louis. We have Maryville, and then we'll go out and swim Division I schools too. We'll swim against St. Louis University every year. So we have a really good kind of region here with really good swim teams and schools in our conference. So we're blessed to have that. We really like being in the fastest conference, even though it's tough to compete sometimes just because so many teams are so good. But we like that part because if we beat those teams, it's that much more important.
Of course, what is that like, obviously competing against some of the teams in your conference, like McKendree?
Yeah, it's when, for example, when you're swimming against McKendree, you're going to get their best swimmers out there, and it's only going to make us faster because we'll want to beat them, and it motivates us to swim against teams like that are constantly in the top 5 in the country. We're a top 25 team, but swimming against those top 5 teams just motivates you a lot more. And it happened at our conference meet this past year, where our girls relay beat McKendree's girls relay, and we got on the podium for a bronze medal. So that was very exciting. But yeah, they're all those teams that are, the top 5 teams in the country. They always motivate us to swim better.
As a coach, what is it like getting a coach against and seeing your athletes compete against Division I athletes?
Yeah. So what we really like when we do swim against D1 teams is um, we kind of instill the fact that we're just as good as these teams, and you guys can compete. The guys and girls can compete against these teams just like any other D1 team. So um, you know we don't want them to come in hesitant or scared just because it's a D1 school. But I think we've done a great job against the D1 teams that we have swam against, whether it be at an invitational or a dual meet, just a one-on-one meet. But yeah, we just kind of instill that confidence in us that we belong, swimming against those bigger schools like that.
As a coach, what does that recruitment process look like for those prospective swimmers out there?
So swimming wise, it's very time based, obviously, and you know, we kind of go around the region. We kind of start out from where we're at in St. Louis and kind of branch out from the surrounding states. And, there's a really helpful website that we can use that's very similar to like the football ones that you see in basketball, like Max Preps. But, you can go on there, you can actually look up any swimmer that you're trying to find, or they can reach out to you. And basically, the process is just getting into contact with swimmers that you need, like whatever event it is or type of swimmer it is, and setting up visits to come in and check out the school and meet the team. And hopefully they end up deciding that they want to swim for you.
As a coach, do you look at in those prospective student athletes when out on the road recruiting?
The biggest thing is what we like to see is kind of like that leadership quality, even though we know like coming in as freshmen, they're not necessarily going to be a captain or anything, but just kind of seeing that leadership quality and like, they have a voice and, they're going to work hard and, they're not, they want to be there. So there's, sometimes you run into recruits where, they look very unsure what if they even want to swim or compete in college. So we kind of look for those kids that definitely want to be there and are motivated to accomplish whatever goals that they've set for themselves.
What is it like as a coach getting to see those players fall in love with your swimming pool and in love with the campus?
It's a big relief because you're always nervous when you come in or bring recruits in, because especially the ones that are that you've got really high on your board. And when you notice that they're having a good time on the visit and that they like the campus and the pool and the team and everything, um, it's a more of a relief, and it does motivate you a little bit more just for the upcoming season, because you're like, yes, we've got this person coming in to help our team. So yeah, it's very nerve-wracking when we have recruits on, but we try to relax as much as we can and just kind of show who we really are with our personalities, and hopefully they take a liking to that.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that swim cap for the first time representing Missouri?
Yeah, it's really cool, especially when you're bringing in a big group. We had a big group this past year where we had almost 20 people to come in this past year. So we almost had 20 freshmen. And when they first come in, they're all wearing their old club cap or their old high school cap for the first few practices. And then we do a midnight madness practice where we actually start at midnight. And that's when we kind of give them our UMSL caps, and then that's when they start wearing them from then on out. And it's cool. That's kind of like the part of the season where the camaraderie starts, because everybody's wearing the same cap. No one's, I'm on this club team, I'm on this club team. Everybody's a part of the same team and unit. So it's a really cool. We love doing that practice, and it's something we just started more recently, but we're looking forward to more of those in the future.
Of course, as a coach, what is it like seeing your seniors put on that cap for the last time representing the school?
Yeah, that one's the more bittersweet, because like we just got done with nationals last week, and we had seniors and we had fifth year seniors on our team, and man, when you're with them so long, I mean, 4 years, 5 years, it doesn't seem like that long of a time, but when you're with them all the time, you're with them almost all the week, or they see you most of the week. They kind of become your kids away from your home. So, it's always tough. Like, you're happy for them, but you're also sad at the same time. We had swimmers this weekend that gained All-American honors, and so happy for them that they got it, but like it's like the tears start flowing because you're like, this is it for them right here. So it's definitely bittersweet, I'd say.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those athletes go on and compete on the national level, whether it's US or Canada for the Olympics?
Yeah, so we've got a few kids that go and swim in pro series meets that are, the level of like the Olympic trials and stuff, where you'll see, Caleb Dressel and all the top swimmers in the world really go to those meets, and just having our kids be able to compete in those meets is awesome to see, and it also helps just uh, getting our name out on the national level, just because they see someone's wearing an UMSL cap at a pro series meet. Really helps us out. So we're appreciative that we've got kids that are able to go swim in those and kind of get, a free advertising for us, for our school, and any of those kids that go just watch the meet, just see that, oh, that guy swims for UMSL. So I kind of need to look into that school. So we're super proud of the ones that get to the pro series. It's an awesome feeling.
As a coach, what is it like seeing your athletes go into coaching like you have?
Yeah, so we've got actually quite a few former swimmers and current swimmers that actually get into coaching while they're either swimming or right after. And you kind of see that they, take the knowledge that I've given them and Coach Hernandez has given them, and they kind of implement it into into their coaching style. So, you're kind of like that someone has learned something from you, which is cool. And I love seeing it like on the coaching side of it, where they kind of adopt stuff that you've done before. And yeah, we really encourage kids to go out and start coaching, even if it doesn't want to be their future job, just to kind of get them ready for the future. Just interacting with people and learning how to deal with people, I think, helps quite a bit.
What are some of your future plans for the swimming program moving forward?
Um, right now, we've we've improved every single year. This is my 5th year at the school, and we just like coming up with new ideas every year, just to grow the sport as well. Not only our team, but the sport. And we really like to have fun like that. We don't want it to be so stagnant to where it's just, oh, it's swimming, you can only do this, you can only do this, you can only do this. We like to implement different things into our practices, into our meets, especially our meets. We do one really cool thing we do is we do like intros for different swimmers. So it's kind of like a big, like a basketball game type intro that we really like to do, just to kind of build the energy in the place, and doing giveaway stuff, and getting the fans involved in the crowd is really fun. And on the training side of things, just kind of mixing up and not going through the motions so much, and doing different things that the kids like to enjoy while working hard and, practicing at the same time.
So far, as an assistant coach, what have been some of the things that you've been able to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, this year at our conference meet, we received Coaches of the Year for our conference, which was awesome. What an honor that was, hearing our names get called. And also our team receiving the Team Sportsmanship Award for our conference meet as well. So those two honors were huge for us. That just kind of reinforces the fact that we're doing something right with our team. And going forward, we're just trying to build up as much as we can, and getting better every year is our main goal. So Seeing that kind of stuff really motivates you when you receive honors like that, and it really gets you ready for that next season to be even better than last year.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college swimming?
Yeah, I'd say for freshmen, the biggest thing is, and we kind of preach this a lot, is being patient when you come into a new program. A lot of people, they set their expectations, which is great, and goals are great to have. But if you don't hit that goal immediately, it's not the end of the world. You can still accomplish your goal. It might not happen instantaneously, but you're still working towards it, for the future. So I think one big thing I preached this year, especially with a couple of our freshman girls, is they were trying to break some records on our team. And, at the beginning of the year, they were just missing it. And, I just kept telling them, be patient, you're going to get it, just keep the work ethic up and you're going to get the record. And when we got our championship meet, they both got both records. So I think that's the main thing, is just being patient and a little bit grounded when you come in. You don't want to be too high strung and kind of like super have a lot of anxiety over goals that you have. Just, let your training speak for itself when you get to competitions and stuff, and it'll be there. The goals will be accomplished in the end.
What advice would you give those seniors looking to compete on the national team?
Yeah, so with our seniors going to like pro series meets and stuff like that, we hope that what they've learned with us is, kind of a stepping stone towards having a good mindset in those pro series type meets. So, basically it's, we don't have to teach them too much by the time they're seniors, just because they've been through it all before, and they kind of been to big meets, being the national championships and conference championships are huge meets. So they've got the experience by the time they go out of college and go into those pro series meets. And we just hope that what we've taught them up until that point translates into those pro series type meets.
What advice would you give those seniors looking to get into college coaching after their swimming career?
Yeah, I'd say, if you're trying to be a college coach, the best thing to do is, and this is kind of for any sport really, not just swimming, but you'll see a lot of swimmers come out of school and they'll become grad assistants, which is huge. Like being a grad assistant for a year gives you a ton of experience. And if you're looking to find a coaching job, like a more full-time one, whether it be assistant or head coach, having that grad assistant year is huge, because they look at that and know that you've been through at least a season of knowing how to prepare people and doing the boring stuff like the paperwork stuff. So yeah, I'd say, if you're looking to be a college coach, just doing that grad assistant type stuff or a student assistant is super important.
What advice would you give those future assistant coaches out there looking to get into college swimming?
Yeah, I just for me at least, I wanted to build up a team when I was at St. Charles. And that was my goal, was building a team up and building it to be successful. And, being an assistant, going into this school and kind of being in the same situation when we were trying to build it back up, because we were brand new in 2015, trying to build the team back up. And, you have a goal set for yourself, whether it be going from a club team or whatever to a college team. It's very similar. There's really not that much difference. You're just dealing with older kids now. Yeah, just setting goals for yourself, and you can have similar goals with the team you were with before, and going into a new team, they can be very similar. So that's kind of what I did going into being an assistant, was, having a same sort of goal for my club team going into the college team.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the program at?
Yeah, so on Instagram, it's just UMSL Swimming. And then we also have a YouTube page, and that is also just UMSL Swimming. And then I am on Instagram, it's Kale Kirchner. And yeah, that's all my social media stuff, I believe.
Thank you again, Coach Kale Kirchner, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the Missouri St. Louis.
All right, thank you so much.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon. You can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Kale Kirchner, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.